Hey everybody, so today I just want to do a quick video on basically how you can create DLLs in LabVIEW. So these would be similar to like your C DLLs. So basically making it so your LabVIEW code can be called either by LabVIEW or by other languages, right? So yeah, I just have a couple simple functions here. Just creating a simple example with some, add, subtract, divide, multiply, subtract, stuff like that. So then for our build specs, you will want to right click on build specs and let's take just a second, go to new, and for these we're going to be looking at shared library DLL. So if you select that, that's going to create the build specification for creating a DLL. I already have one created, so let's take a look at that. And like I said, you can create whatever functions you want. This is just a simple example using add, divide, multiply, subtract. You can make these as simple or as complex as you want. They could be a single LabVIEW function that you just want other languages to be able to call, or they can be, VIs that you've, developed complex algorithms, etc., different things you might want to do. So we're going to have this build specification name. We can add whatever name we want. That's basically what's going to show up here in your project. What we want our DLL to be called, I've just called it math. You can call it whatever you want. We're also going to specify where we want that to be built. Then if we go to source files, we can choose which VIs we want to export. So I've selected all of these. Everything that's in your project will automatically load here, and you can basically just click on it and use the arrows to move it over. So yeah, any of the VIs that you want to be able to call, you'll want to add here. Anything that's maybe dynamically called, you'll want to add to the always included. Destinations, I've rarely ever found a need to modify anything here, but yeah, basically we can define the destination for this math DLL and for support directory. So if there's like a data folder that needs to exist, or if we wanted to call it something else or put it somewhere else, we can do that. That would be like external assemblies or DLLs that these things might be referencing. Source file settings, so you can go modify settings of each individual VI. Because this is a DLL, there's really not a lot you need to mess with, just because typically if you're building like an exe or something, you can customize like UI components, right? Like how things look, how things behave. But for this, there's really not much because there isn't going to be a UI. There's some advanced sections. So just like building an exe, you can like enable debugging, error code, stuff like that. If you go to additional exclusions, just like in building an exe, you can kind of disconnect stuff that's not needed to try to kind of free up space and whatnot. Sometimes different things will need to be in certain combinations because, for example, malleable buffer. If you try to include that in an exe and build, it just breaks with the default settings. You need to go in and specifically disconnect type definitions or else it won't build. So in most cases, you can just leave everything by the default, but if you need to mess with some of this stuff to get around some error, you can. You can specify a version information. You can sign your DLL. You can specify languages, pre-post build actions if you want something to happen, before or after. And yeah, that's basically it. So let's build this DLL. It'll build really quickly because there's really not much going into it. And just a sec. Yeah, sweet. So our build is done. Let's go open that up so we can see what it looks like. So we get our DLL right there. We get this .lib, we get a .aliases, we also get a header file, and we get our ini file. So let's go look at this header file real quick. So this basically makes it really easy for different languages to interpret the DLL, know how to use its functions, what its inputs and outputs are, etc. Not sure why it's taken forever to open that. There it goes. Yeah, you can basically see, Okay. Don't care about that. All right. So yeah, you can see like there's your add function, and it specifies basically what the data in and out is, divide, etc. So yeah. And wanted to also show how you can basically go to Tools, Import, a shared library, and you get this little wizard for importing shared libraries. And basically what this will do is it will allow you to connect to a DLL and also its header file. So let's go here, go to builds, and there we have our DLL, and it automatically found the header file. Can go to next, skip this page, and it's going to parse our header file, and it found an add, divide, multiply, and subtract function, which is all that's in that DLL. I can then just click next, yeah, sure, we can. Let's actually put this here. And there we go. Error handling, we can choose how we want to handle error handling. These are all just math functions, so it doesn't really make sense to include any error handling. We can also customize each individual VI, how we want it to be called and executed. I'm just going to leave everything by default and generate our code. So now at this point we've created a DLL in LabVIEW. We've taken some LabVIEW VIs, built a DLL, and then we've also wrapped the DLL in LabVIEW. So this is calling our math DLL. You can see our functions that we've created in there. And we've created wrappers for all of these so that you can now use LabVIEW to call your DLL. But aside from just LabVIEW, right, we can now call this DLL in other languages. So 5 plus 3 equals 8. And if we wanted, this could be called in C#, it could be called in C++, it could be called in Python, it could be called in virtually whatever language. Basically just really opens the door to sharing code, interoperability between different languages, being able to use LabVIEW for things that LabVIEW is very good at, and being able to use other languages for things that other languages are very good at. So really kind of cool what you can do with this. But yeah, that would be how you can build DLLs in LabVIEW. Thanks for tuning in.
Canon Controls is your gateway to mastering LabVIEW. Dive into programming for data acquisition, industrial communications, and manufacturing automation. Explore how to enhance your projects with cybersecurity best practices. Join the journey to elevate your skills and secure your systems with every episode.